Good morning. How you doing? Welcome back to Towing with a 2015 Highlander. That is the name of this video because that's the video I've gotten the most likes on YouTube with. I got over 240 likes, which is my not likes. Oh, that's very different. Views. I was very excited for 240 plus views. So let's do some more towing. That's my neighbor Natasha. Good morning, Natasha. That's funny. All right, so we're gonna be towing with a 2015 Highlander. This is the car. And over here is a trailer. Excuse my trash and stuff. I'm sorry, we're gonna make a dump one. That is a 2021 Aspen Trail 17BH, I think is the name of that model. We bought it about a year and a half ago now, I think. And it weighs, well, I guess we can start with the trailer. So you're towing with this car. You're towing what? You're towing this? Let's go see what we're towing here. So towing is a huge subject on YouTube, huge. I found it can be very, very controversial. And people have their, people definitely have their opinions about towing in the United States. It's a very, very big deal. I've come to the conclusion that we're very conservative towers in the United States, which is, I guess, great because I'm all for safety and conservative practices on the road tend to make things safer, right? So I'm all for that, by the way. Kind of. All right, so here we go. Let's go. So our trailer here weighs. So this is the thing about all this stuff. It's hard to. Lots of stickers for your trailer. I haven't looked at this in a while. Gross vehicle weight rating. Okay. 3,850 pounds. That's loaded. That's as much as this trailer is supposed to weigh, ever. Unloaded, so it has a very low payload capacity of only 800 pounds. Unloaded, 358 pounds. This is one of the things that makes trailering so hard. Look at all this stuff. It's so hard to go through all this stuff. It's so annoying. Okay, so gross vehicle weight rating. Do I have 800 pounds of stuff in here? No, I don't. And how do I know? I don't really know. I didn't weigh everything. So it's another problem. Does everybody weigh everything? Do you have a scale at your house where you can weigh all your clothes and sneakers and shoes and food before you put it in your trailer? No. Do you know how much? Well, you can do the math for the tanks. So I have a 20. I think it says again. You need to know your tank capacities. I have 20 gallons of fresh water. How much does 20 gallons of fresh water weigh? Times 8.2, 8.8, something like that. So that's how much water. Water weighs a lot. My tanks are empty, so that gives me a lot more capacity. And I believe all trailers, when they say gross, is with their tanks full. So you got to take away. If you have full tanks, you have to take away hundreds of pounds of water and waste weight in your cargo capacity. I could be wrong. I mean, let me know in the comments, but yeah, that's the way I read that. Anyway, okay. So 3,850 pounds. Okay. Let's go to my car. Now you go to the more stickers. So, not any less confusing. Oh wow, look at these, like 8 stickers right here. Go ahead, Amy. Forgive the mess in the car. All right. So I'm gonna go get down here. All right, how much can this car carry? And I had to look, I had to go back again this morning. It took me forever to find it. I finally found it. It cannot, my max carrying capacity of this car is 1,385 pounds. Is as much junk as I can put in this car without exceeding 6,000 pounds according to this sticker. So I gotta go from here to here. And then, I got the third sticker down here. It says, because of modifications, take 20 pounds off of that. So 1,365, okay? Is as much as I can carry. Okay, so how much do I have in the car? Okay, so I give myself 250 pounds. I give my wife 150 pounds. And my kids each 100 pounds. Okay, hi. You sink. Oh, okay. My son's toilet training. Apparently, he's sinking into the toilet. Coming back. Okay. So we can carry 1,365 pounds in this car. And then again, you know, how much do we all weigh? 150 for my wife, 250 for me. That's conservative. Then 100 for each of my kids. Then how much stuff do you got? So where are we at now?
About 500.
About 500. Thank you, my teacher wife did the math for me there. So we're at 500 already. So we got, you know, 1,000 to go still. Over 1,000 to go. Okay, but then people forget the hitch weight. So you take the rule of the road is 10% of the trailer weight, but it can be more. Sometimes some trailers weigh a lot more, like over 15%. I think something even go more than 15%. But I'm doing 10% of this weight. So when we say the trailer weighs 3,800 something, so 3,000 or 380 pounds of tongue weight. And then so the tongue, that's the tongue. So that's how much I'm saying my tongue weight is. Now, trying to think where I want to go now. So the tongue weight is very important. So you got to add the tongue weight to your gross vehicle weighting. So you add, I'm going to add 380 pounds to everything in my car, and that's just over $1,000 now. I think we're still under 1,000 pounds, aren't we? Then we got stuff. What about the fuel? People might ask. I think the fuel is included in the gross vehicle weight rating, a full tank of fuel, which it has. So I'm going to assume that would be pretty lame if they didn't include the fuel. So I'm assuming that's in the number, so we don't have to count the fuel weight. Plus I don't know how much gasoline weighs. Okay, so what are we towing with? So we got a weight distribution hitch called Recurve 3. Forgive the dust webs, it's been in the corner of the garage. So this model, I believe, has been discontinued. I don't think they make it anymore, which is a little disconcerting. Why don't they make it anymore? But I don't think there's any recalls or anything. I bought it from the dealership. I'm pretty sure I would have got a notice for the recall, I think. But I probably should have gone online and checked. But yeah, I don't see anything. But yeah, so it's a pretty interesting weight distribution hitch. It's one of the newer models where the weight distribution bars lift the trailer up a little bit, distribute the weight, and they're on top. Traditional weight distribution hitches hang below and are pulled up by chains. These sit on top and are just locked in by pins. So a lot of people will stop me or comment like, are your bars upside down? Because the old school towers are not used to seeing that. So it looks weird to them. And the anti-sway is actually in this clamp right here. It's a clamp and it has some brake material down there where it squeezes, and there's an Allen pin or an Allen wrench hole right here where you tighten with an Allen wrench. And that tightens this part up here, because this part actually moves independently of the hitch. And that's your anti-sway. So the tighter that is, the more friction will put on here, increasing your anti-sway. So you loosen that up. All right, so that brings me to another subject about towing, is towing in bad weather. We're going to Leavenworth, Washington, up in the snow. So that's another thing we're doing. We're towing in this SUV that a lot of Americans frankly think you should have no business towing in. You should not. You should never tow in anything like this. However, my manufacturer says I can tow up to 5,000 pounds with this bad boy, believe it or not. That's what it says I can, which is insane to me. It sounds like a lot. Again, my trailer is only 3,850 fully loaded, and it's not fully loaded. So there's that. I'm not really worried about getting close to that number at all. And believe it or not, this has a tow package, which is crazy to me. It has a radiator cooler, I believe, or an oil cooler, or both. I forget. It's one of the fluid coolers, if not both. And what else is different about it? I believe that might be it. There might be something. I might be missing something, but it has the bigger engine of the two options that room. Three, I guess. You can get the hybrid too. The hybrid can't tow much. So it has one of the bigger engine, a V6, all-wheel drive. Yeah, so that's what I'm towing with. It says I can tow 5,000 pounds, which is insane. So the tongue weight rating on this has to be up to 500 pounds, which is also insane to me. Okay, all right. So to tow with this also, it came with a four pin. Those of you who tow, that's the flat one for trailers without brakes, like that little trailer over there. For trailers like that, I had to get a 7-pin conversion, so I had the dealership slap that on there. But there's no brake controller. I read on the interwebs the Highlanders freak out when you put a brake controller into the wiring system. So I told them not to do that. It's just basically the 7-pin that charges the trailer battery as I'm driving and does all the brakes and lights, but it does not have the brake controller attached to it. I bought a Curt wireless brake controller that works with my cell phone. Other technology that a lot of people don't even know exists yet. And a lot of hardcore trailer people are going, oh, you know, that's not good either because you're using your cell phone as a trailer brake controller, and that's not traditional either. I don't know any better. I've never used a traditional trailer brake controller before towing with a passenger vehicle, so I can't compare the two, but so far I'm happy with the Curt. It does everything the other brake controllers can do. I can adjust the gain, the sensitivity, I can manually control it. I leave it on my dashboard constantly plugged in there as a control. I don't use my cell phone while I'm using this as I'm parked or something. But yeah, so it works great. I'm happy with it. And it sticks out right here, and then you plug the trailer into it. So the brake controller goes there. This is it. So it plugs in there, the car, and then this plugs in the trailer, and it talks to your cell phone via Bluetooth. And it's worked great. I like it very much. So yeah, so it distributes the weight. So my vehicle won't be super squatty. It probably squats maybe an inch now when I'm on the trailer, when the trailer's on it. And it doesn't squat too much. A lot of people, that's another thing about trailering in America. They see a vehicle squatting a lot, people shake their heads and, oh, you know, he's obviously overloaded. You don't know that. You don't know how soft their suspension is. I mean, is it an indication he could be overloaded? Sure. That's another thing. People, that's another weird thing about trailering. They see the squat. They use squat to judge as a measure of if you're overloaded or not. Can it be an indication? Yes, but does it mean you are? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means how soft are your back springs and stuff. Anyway, passenger cars are soft, really soft. Again, you probably argue because not made for towing, but they're soft because they're passenger cars. So, but my weight distribution hitch gets that weight up and only squats about an inch, which is good because I don't want to hear it from people because people will kind of give me shaky heads at the campsites if they see me squatting too much. And I want the weight to be distributed. You don't want a light front end because it affects your handling, and you don't want a lot of tongue weight because it can affect trailer sway. There's great videos on the YouTube talking about trailer sway and what makes it worse, what makes it better, and it's very counterintuitive. I would suggest that everybody watches it if they don't, because I'm starting to realize the stuff on the street knowledge and stuff is a little, I don't know if it's scientifically based. A lot of it is like just what my dad taught me, or grandpa used to tow like this, so I tow like this, and it's just tradition. I don't know if a lot of it's science-based or fact-based. So I suggest that a lot of people watch YouTubes with people who are physics. There's a few people who are physics instructors and stuff that will actually, professors that actually talk about trailer sway on their videos. It's fascinating. And it's complicated. It's way beyond my math capabilities and understanding, but I learned a lot from watching them. And I would suggest everybody do that. So all I have to say, I'm towing with my family in this passenger car with that camper. I hear my kids screaming in the background, so I'm going to have to go check on them. That camper in the snow. We'll see how it goes. We'll document it on the way. And yeah, see how you think about it. See if you think it's safe or not.
Back in business. Stop. Carry on. Sec. Slow. Good. Good. Beautiful.
Hey, okay, so we got the trailer hooked up. Come on, take a step back. We'll look at the squat. It's squatting a little bit, probably maybe almost 2 inches actually. But I'm happy with that. That's good enough. It's a passenger car, whatever. So we got the weight distribution hitch on here. You can see the trailer is actually sitting very flat. And yeah. Tire pressure is important. We're doing the tire pressures, and this is another thing that frustrates me so much. So inside the door jam of your car, the manufacturer says 35 pounds. You go to the tire, it says max 44. Why is there a discrepancy? I'm guessing it's probably because the ride quality and things like that. The Toyota and the tire manufacturer talk to each other and go, well, 35 will be nice and comfy, and it'll be a nice blend of performance and comfiness. Anyway, but I've discovered, or I think that you're supposed to increase the tire pressure of your towing tires a little bit. So I increased the back tires to 42, front tires to 40 psi, because we're towing. Anyway, tire pressure on the camper is supposed to be 90 pounds, so a lot more. Don't read the tires pressure on your camper tires, because it's a lot different. 90 pounds is very different than most of your passenger cars. So I have to go to the store now and put some air in the tires.
Yes.
All right, so we're getting into the snow. We're about 20 miles east or west of Snoqualmie Pass on the I-90. And there's snow on the ground off the road, but the road's dry. It's 36 degrees outside. There's not supposed to be any precipitation today, although we've seen some flurries. Yeah, I was shocked to see this much snow this low, but I don't know this area, so it's not unusual at all. But yeah, that was kind of shocking. I just told my wife to remind me to loosen the anti-sway once we get onto snowy roads or slick roads. And I've heard that you do that to allow the vehicle to turn easier and control the trailer easier. Because if you have that tension in the middle, your front wheels are going to want to plow, because your car doesn't want to pivot in the pivot point of the hitch, and you might plow or push your front tires. I'm thinking is with to alleviate that. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I've been told, or I've learned to loosen that, and that's what I need to do once. But right now, no, there's a sway control still on, and to tell you the truth, I usually never mess with the sway control ever. I just usually leave it at one setting. I back with it the way it is. I go on surface streets the way it is. I usually can't tell the difference. But if it gets treacherous, I will loosen it to give myself advantage. What else? Anything else? They were towing fine, comfy. Oh, MPG was lame. We had about 10 miles per gallon the whole way up on the I-5, and it just now got a little bit better to 11.8 miles per gallon as we're going up to the pass. But as we start going up the pass, it's going to go down again. Yeah, yes. My daughter just now seeing the snow. But yeah. There's a few wrecks and lane closures and stuff on the I-90, so we might have some traffic. We're a little behind. Check-in was at 1 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock now. I'm not rushing. No big deal. No reason to rush. What's the point?
Hi, Dad.
Yeah. Hi, honey. 21 degrees. Well, welcome to what? Welcome to Welcome to Leavenworth, Washington. It's Tuesday morning-ish, lunch-ish, brunch-ish time, and my kids are having fun in the snow. This is the snowstorm. This is the Arctic blast, snowpocalypse that's coming down. We made it up here good, kinda, if you consider good, twice as long as it was supposed to take. A 4.5 hour trip took almost 9 hours. So that was something. There was a road closure on the 97. Let's walk and talk. There was a road closure on the 97 and that slowed us down. And then we ended up just waiting and then going up the 97 anyway, after going halfway up a detour. And then there's just the traveling time. I was driving maybe 40 miles per hour at the slowest and 50 miles per hour at the fastest when the snow was finally starting to stick on the ground. I mean, the roads were clear. I say stick on the ground. The roads were clear and they were being treated very well. Thank you, all the Washington Department of Transportation people. This country would stop moving if it wasn't for you guys. But yeah, so my hats off to those guys. And the trailer acted very predictably. I mean, I was going pretty slow. Yeah. This is the most snow we're gonna see. We're not gonna trailer right now. We're going to unhook the SUV and go drive around town. But yeah, it was a pretty good trip up here. But then again, it did take twice as long to get up here. It was challenging. We had to do a lot of rerouting and trying to figure out traffic conditions. It was frustrating because we felt like the traffic conditions we were getting were not up to date. Like everything was lagging, which I guess that's just how it works. It just takes a while to update stuff. But yeah, but all in all, trailing was fine. Unincidental, is that a word? Unethical? What?
Uneventful.
Uneventful and unethical. Okay. Where do we have to okay, I'm stressed out. This is intense. Okay, where do you want to go, Josie? The little one? Okay, watch out, back up. Back up. Stop petting.
He said that one was a good one to pet.
Okay.
The one with the red harness.
That was a good memory. Good memory. You're right. We forgot. You remember. We forgot.
Is your cup's empty? I'll take them and throw you so
A little bit. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
We don't have any more food?
A little bit. Oh my gosh. My hands are freezing. Okay, what do you want to do? Don't get close. Just do that. 3 feet. 3 feet. 3 feet. Okay, yeah. Oh god. Oh jeez, it's like a Hoover. Ah! Okay. Back up. Oh, I'm done. Come on, Josie. Wow. Josie, you with us? This is hilarious. Thanks, guys. leaving. We're going home. This is the worst weather I've ever trailered in. 8 degrees, going downhill. I don't know what percent of. My son is super. He burned his tongue on hot cocoa for the first time in his life. We've all been there. But yeah, the trailer is doing really good. I had to check out my trailer brake settings. I have it set down to 60, and the sensitivity I think is 6. My glasses are off right now. Okay, Miles, hold together. And then, so I have that set down because when I was testing to leave, the trailer brakes were just locking up and dragging. And so I dial it down until it wasn't just totally just dragging the car as I was adjusting the trailer brakes. Right, so my trailer brake settings are down to I think 60 and 6 for sensitivity, and just to compare and contrast, when I'm on dry road, I think I have it all the way up to 90, and the sensitivity up to like 8. So this is way dialed down, and it feels like it's tracking really nicely behind me. I had to do some pull-offs into some powder, some real thin powder, and it didn't step out or want to jackknife or anything. It feels very solid. In fact, it feels so solid. Getting so confident feels so good that I want to drive faster. I have to keep telling myself just calm down and not drive faster. The ground is a mix of packed powder and ice, but with plenty of traction. There's not much traffic. There's a little bit. People are driving pretty nicely. No one's really tailgating me. They give me chances to get the turnouts. I'm trying to pull over at every turnout so I don't get a parade. I don't want to be that guy who refuses to do that. I think it's super rude and dangerous because it makes people super mad and they start doing super crazy, dangerous stuff. But I'm trying to get off that rumble strip. But yeah, this is gorgeous. Some of the most beautiful driving I've ever done in my life. This is so beautiful. Leavenworth, Washington might be one of the prettiest places in Washington, if not the United States I've ever been, especially during winter. But yeah, this little Toyota, this little SUV, 2015 Highlander, all-wheel drive with the tow package. The tow package, whatever that means. It does really great. It's never got close to being stuck. It stops really well. I feel total control. I'm very, very pleased and very thankful for this little car. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you liked it, hit like. If you really want to see some more stuff, hit subscribe. Appreciate your time. Wait for our next one. More towing, trailering, crazy spots to camp in Washington. We'll see.